It's another beautiful Carolina morning, and I'm out here in my front yard. It's November 20th, and I'm getting ready for my spring garden, which for some people say, November 20th and you're out working on your garden, that seems kind of strange. Well, not to me, because if you're going to live off the land, you do have to get out there and work whenever you have the chance. And my spring is going to be very busy, and so when I have the opportunity, I take advantage of what I got to do around here. Now, as you can see, this here being my, believe it or not, my front yard, I have a lot of tree stumps in here. And initially, when I moved here, I figured, well, I'll just get somebody to come in and pull these stumps out of here, and I'll have it graded off, and I'll plant my garden here. Well, needless to say, it was harvest season in the area, and I couldn't get anyone out here to remove them, and so my decision then became, all right, I can't do that at this time, so let me go ahead and put my garden a little further back where the stumps aren't so high, and I'll make raised beds there and plant in a raised bed thing. There are roots and stumps underneath that, and I'm able to grow my vegetables pretty well in that area. But over here, what I had decided to do was, because I had these stumps and I couldn't actually just leave them stumps sticking up in the front yard, so I decided I would make these into flower beds. And I find that nature is just unbelievable. I look at this here root, which to many people would be pretty ugly, but to me, I just see beautiful, beautiful life forms growing there. I have a whole palette of different combinations of colors. I mean, an artist couldn't paint anything better than this as far as formation goes. It's just magnificent, and it's something that I decided, well, let me work this into my garden, and that's why I decided to plant my flowers in here. And I planted insect attracting flowers. Here's another stump. Again, to me, I look at this and I see a work of art. Just magnificent, the way the algae, or not the algae, excuse me, the moss is growing on the tree. There was algae in there also, or growing on the stump. And you can see where insects have made little homes in the side of the dirt. Just, this is my life, and being out in nature is just unbelievable. So here again, I had planted this with flowers, and I had sunflowers and butterfly attracting flowers and all, and it worked out very well. However, this year I've decided that I would go ahead and incorporate vegetables into this planting, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to set this up now for the incoming season to grow vegetables in it, and I'm going to be introducing my leaf mulch, because that's what I use in my raised beds for growing my vegetables, is leaf mulch, and I'll be doing the same thing here. But the first thing I want to do is to form this out in a very unique pattern, or shape I should say. I start off by raking the edges of my design out. Now this kind of comes natural for me. You can use a garden hose to do this. I've incorporated 1, 2, 3 major tree stumps in this one planting area, and I just raked it up. The next part of the process is to go around and put an edge on the bed, and I do that with a spade. I just go ahead and chisel an edge in. Of course, now come spring, more than likely this will have filled in a little bit, but all I have to do is just rake it back up like I did initially here. So the perimeter of the design is in. I kind of like this design, so that's why I repeated it. Next, I'll go ahead and rake up the sides. Now you can see I'm just raking this towards the center. Now if I just left it this way without covering it with leaves, this would just immediately wash down and fill up my trenching. But you put leaves on top of there and that reduces your soil movement. So now the next step is to figure out exactly where I'm going to put posts in here with guy wires on it in order to grow my squash or cucumbers, whatever vining crop I decide to put in here. Alright, I went into the woods and I cut me down some about 4.5 foot long, 3 to 4 inch in diameter posts. They're oak and they're green, and the only reason I'm cutting green wood out here is because we had a Hurricane Edward go through, knock down some trees, and these trees were knocked down along with it. And so I'm going to take advantage of that and plant green wood in, or not plant, dig the holes and put the green wood posts in it. I'm planning that maybe these would last me for about 2.5 to 3 years, and then they would start to disintegrate, and by that time I will become creative again out here and make a different design. I've now installed the posts that I had, and my little gray cells, they started to get active there, and instead of running a guy wire like I did on the bottom here, I decided to just go out and cut another longer post and put it up as a rail. So now I have a rail on the top and a guy wire on the bottom. I think aesthetically it'll be a little more pleasing when the plants grow up. I mean, right now you see it as a bare item, but once the plants fill in here, this will be pretty novel, believe me. So the next step for this is to start bringing in the leaves. I've added my leaves to the bed, and I think there's about 12 wheelbarrow loads of leaves I've dumped in here. Now it's pretty dry at this time of the year. Well, actually, it's pretty dry this year at this time of the year, even though we had a major hurricane come whipping through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go take my super compost tea that I have, because of the temperature, the larvae have become inactive in it. So I'm going to drain my barrel, and then I will go ahead and apply that first to the leaves, and then I will go ahead and water this in, and that will hold me for a while. Now actually this is not the super compost tea itself. This is the liquid that I use before, or the liquid I obtained before I actually put it through the composting process with the air stone. But this is extremely highly organically charged, and I'm going to water the whole bed with this, and then I'll come in and hose it down. And then when I free range my chickens out here, I hope they stay out of this, because they love this stuff. They love the maggots that I take out of here, or I should say larvae that I take out of here. So we'll keep doing this. I've now completed this project for the day. It's been watered in. I put the compost liquid on the top and then watered it in. And this is the way it'll stay for a while. I'll be adding compost that I get from my compost pile to it as the year goes on, and that compost has chicken manure in with it, but I let it age so that we have no plant burning. But this is it for the time being, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more of these to do, and that'll keep me busy for a while. So have a nice day. Come back and see the continuing bed here. Maybe by then I'll have some grass growing out here. I haven't bothered with that yet. And we'll be planting. Have a nice day.